Hello and welcome to Tale on the Air. I'm Sean, the Fox in the Fedora, and we're here for another fun-filled, thrill-filled game of Champions RPG. For those of you who don't know, Champions is kind of like Dungeons & Dragons, only with superheroes, similar to the characters you'd find in Marvel or DC Comics. Now, instead of going by the traditional and very complicated RPG rules, yeah, I know there'll be those of you out there who'll be like, hey, they're not that complicated or whatnot, but just for our audience sakes and our contestants' sakes and especially my sake, I've extremely simplified the rules, which I'll get into in a bit. But hey, RPGs are what you make of them. Now then, on to the game. As it was explained in the new intro of the series, I will be known as Director Fox, and I will send various contestants, aka other heroes, on missions to save the world, or something along those lines. The rules for this RPG have been simplified to dice rolls and improv. Now there is a set ending that the contestants are trying to get to, and I will help steer them to that ending, but the rest of the game is a combination of their imagination and mine. As the game master, I can accept or reject a path they want to take or an idea they have, but one way or another, the contestants/heroes have to abide by the dice. For the contestants, if they roll an odd number, they fail. An even number, they succeed. Our contestants each have 3 lives and 4 hit points per life. The hit points cannot be taken away if they, example, miss a bus they had to get on or something. The hit points can be taken away if the bus is dropped on top of them. Lose the 4 hit points, you lose a life. Lose all 3 lives, and you're out of the game. If both contestants lose, the villain wins. Now, without further ado, since all our contestants created their own superheroes for this season, let's hear from the 2 we have on today. Contestant number 1, can you please tell us who you are, the name and origin of your hero, their powers and weaknesses?
Hello, my name's Anko Blaze, and my character's name is Seth Willoughby. Seth goes by the name Wolf when he can't use his real name, meaning he's in his hero form, if you will. Seth was born to a family of hybrids. Due to the fact that his brother missed out on most of the gene than he was supposed to receive, Seth received more of the gene than he was supposed to and was born like a werewolf creature. Seth is currently 19 years old and attends college, though he was never fond of it, though his brother forced him to attend, saying he would have to learn in order to get a good job. No one other than Seth's brother knows about his original form. Well, other than Pac. Powers and abilities. Seth was born with 2 powers due to his gene called Hybrida, Latin for hybrid. The first power of his being pyrokinesis, meaning he can shoot out fire or manipulate it if it is close to him. His second ability is teleporting. He is able to transport from location to location if he can see a clear image of it beforehand. Weaknesses. Seth's pyrokinetic ability's only weakness is being drenched in water. If Seth is completely soaked in water, he won't be able to shoot out flames. However, he will still be able to control those around him, meaning campfires, lanterns, etc. His teleportation ability is disrupted whether he is blinded or stunned for a few seconds. If he cannot keep a clear image in his mind, he will end up running into a wall, in best case scenario.
Contestant number 2, introduce yourself, your hero, their origin, powers, and weaknesses.
Hello, my name is Megan June, otherwise known as Moo. My character is Mimi Stroud, otherwise known as Little Fluffenator. Mimi is a 10-year-old girl that lives at home with her estranged parents and piles upon piles of stuffed animals. Growing up, her parents didn't show her very much love, and instead she was left to keep herself company with the many stuffed animals they gave her. Some sort of remorse, I suppose, for not being there for her. Mimi was cheerful nonetheless and didn't mind the neglect. You see, Mimi's power of imagination exceeded most children of her age. When she turned 5, Mimi realized it was not normal to have stuffed animals that moved and talked back to her. At the age of 9, her brother came home one day with bruises. She was curious as to who would do this and tracked the culprits to a group of nasty college kids that beat up and stole valuables from kids walking alone at night. Mimi decided to become the Little Fluffenator that day and to use her powers to help those that were being picked on or in trouble. Her nanny Candace, who Mimi trusts and respects as a mother, knows about her nighttime escapades and chauffeurs her around the city. Powers and abilities. Mimi has the ability to animate inanimate objects. She mostly uses this ability on her many stuffed animals. However, if it's necessary, she has the ability to control larger objects. If the inanimate object has a mouth, it can talk. If it has arms and legs, it has the ability to walk and grab. One time with her older brother's toy tank, she got to fire tiny missiles, making a rather large mess and an unhappy maid. In short, if Mimi imagines the toy to do it, it happens. Weaknesses. Mimi is really young and doesn't fully understand her powers. She also can't imagine added benefits. For example, she can't give her toy pig wings since it doesn't have them. She can't create matter, only manipulate and animate it. So, she only works off what the objects are designed with. Again, Mimi is a 10-year-old child, and on top of that, sort of spoiled.
Greetings, Little Fluffenator and Wolf. Here's your mission. Thanks to the Silver Fang and Pun Guardian, we were able to capture the psychic assassin Warmonger and learn she was working for Dr. Kenyon in a plot to assassinate President Ikena of the African country Nahambane. But that's only the tip of the iceberg we know. As it turns out, the reason for this is exactly what we and President Ture originally suspected, and even explains why Dr. Kenyon and his mysterious employer, we now know to be a criminal mastermind who goes by the name of the Perfect Man, stopped distributing Metatron to Carl Chesterton and other groups. It all comes down to dictator Joseph Otenga, the man who has set his sights on conquering Nahambane and the rest of Africa. For the longest time, the legend behind Otenga's takeover of the African country Lugendian involved a mystical power which allowed him to become a shaman of sorts and turn himself, his followers, or enemies into any animal, be it hybrid or natural. Well, the legends are apparently true thanks to what we saw when we apprehended Warmonger. What's more is that we learned Otenga and the Perfect Man have struck a bargain. They assassinate President Ture, and in return, Otenga provides them with his magically transformed men to be used to create more Metatron. Yeah, we found partial human DNA in the Metatron samples we collected. Dead tissue. Sick, I know. But on the plus side, Otenga can only spare so many of his fellow countrymen, which is why they halted production on the Metatron. But now it looks like we may have zeroed in on where the Metatron strains are being created. We analyzed the fourth unknown Metatron strain and discovered that a part of the formula is of a rare flower found only in the Canadian wilderness. We began monitoring for any suspicious activity there, and, lo and behold, we recently detected helicopters secretly flying in and out of that remote area. One of those helicopters belongs to Carl Chesterton, who escaped house arrest a week ago, but we're not sure who's on the other helicopters. We do know one thing. They've all converged on the laboratory of the late Dr. Jacob Stressen, the world's leading authority on genetics and the creator of Metatron. 5 years ago, I was sent to apprehend him for working with the Perfect Man, and he died in an accidental fire. The Perfect Man escaped capture, and we still don't know who he is today. I guess it only makes sense that their base of operations be there. The wilderness is a place nobody frequents. The rare flower is there, and it's probably where Stressen stashed a copy of his notes to create Metatron. Since the rest of the team is busy following up on other problems across the globe, including the Shadow Destroyer case, I'm sending you two to the Canadian wilderness to catch Stressen's old partner, the Perfect Man, and shut down his operation once and for all. Good luck, and be careful. Okay, you got that?
Got it!
Got it.
Alright, so, you guys board a plane to the nearest airport in Nunavut, Canada, and you arrive safe and sound. Trip wasn't too bad. And now you head for the safe house, which is located just a ways away from Dr. Stressen's old lab. And you both snowmobiled there.
Awesome.
Okay, so now you're at the safe house. What would you like to do, if anything?
I would like to make some hot cocoa.
That sounds lovely.
Okay, so you're gonna go in and you're gonna make hot cocoa.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, let's see how you do with the hot cocoa.
Are you actually rolling for that?
I roll for almost everything.
Goodness gracious.
And you get an 8. You go in and make hot cocoa.
Great! It wasn't spoiled milk.
Can mine have marshmallows?
Sure.
Alright, so the two of you have settled into the safe house there. You wait for the cover of night before beginning your short trek over to Stressen's lab. After all, you don't want to be spotted by any lookouts that may be posted. You get to the top of a hill, which overlooks the lab, and you notice that, despite reports saying it had been abandoned and left to just basically rot out there, it actually looks like somebody's rebuilt it, and it's, all lit up and going, and looks like it's been in full swing for a while.
Do we have binoculars or something of the sort?
Yes, you have binoculars.
Does it have image sending, like, we can take pictures and it sends to HQ?
Well, it can do that, and sure, you can snap a few pictures, but for the most part, your assignment, once the Metatron factory had been located, was to basically destroy it and all strains of Metatron within as well.
I can do that.
Yes! I like destroying things. 10-year-old mind.
As you watch from the hill, you notice a helicopter land in front of the lab. From the front door comes Dr. Roland Kenyon, the man we've been trying to track down for quite a while now. From the helicopter comes Maxine Chesterton, the daughter of Carl Chesterton, and she is wheeling out her father, who has since been crippled, and Dr. Kenyon welcomes them inside. They are, of course, followed by their pilot and Maxine's boyfriend, Jimmy Sutherland.
Ew.
Alright, so, now what are you guys gonna do?
Get closer so we can see what they're doing, right?
I would say yes.
Okay, going to roll for stealth. You're going to get down the hill and see if you can't overhear some things. Rolling! It's a 10!
Woo!
The two of you creep down the hill without, tumbling over and rolling down the hill, because I think that's what would have happened if you got an odd. And you arrive without being spotted at the side of the laboratory building, which, by the way, is also a big tower.
The laboratory is a tower?
Yes. So you two have gotten closer without letting anyone know you're there, but unfortunately, Kenyon, the Chestertons, and Sutherland have gone into the laboratory. Thankfully, the doors are still open, but it may not be wise just waltzing through the front door.
I could teleport us. Hopefully. Last episode didn't work too well.
Okay, rolling for teleportation. It's a 7.
Oh, come on.
And you have now teleported right into a wall. No points off. That's just you crashed into a wall.
That's just me having bad luck.
It's okay, Seth.
Now what are you guys going to try?
I'm gonna send one of my stuffed animals in to listen on them.
Okay, sending stuffed animal in. Rolling.
Go, Mr. Gerald!
It's an 18. The stuffed animal gets in without being seen. And the stuffed animal overhears Dr. Kenyon talking with Carl Chesterton. Kenyon reassures Mr. Chesterton that his employer will be along very shortly, and they will finally get his legs healed up.
Oh.
Well, what would you like to do now?
Well, obviously they have some Metatron in there if he's gonna get his legs healed, so... Do you just bust in?
I think we should probably stick to the stealth. They don't know we're here yet.
Oh, fine.
We can burn it later.
Set it on fire.
Ashes, ashes.
You are both creeping me out now, so anyway, we're gonna go through that. Okay, so, the two of you remain outside when suddenly, Wolf, you get a whiff of a familiar scent.
Is it a positive scent or a negative one?
It is a negative one. In fact, it is one you have smelled before, and every time you smelled it, death followed.
That doesn't sound good.
What would you like to do?
Get in cover as soon as we can.
Okay, going for cover. Uh-oh, it's a 3. Behind you, Zareth, your arch nemesis, jumps on you. The wolf-like beast, bigger than a full-grown bear, now has you pinned down, Wolf. Snarling and growling, obviously recognizing you from many previous encounters.
I try to set him ablaze.
Going for a roll to set him ablaze. Here we go. It's a 20! You set him on fire.
Good.
Or at least for now, because obviously we're going to roll for Zareth and see how that works for him. And he got a 13, which means that he quickly puts out the fire that is on him, and he's going to try and attack you again.
I'm gonna sick Mr. Teddy on him.
Mr. Teddy?
Yes, my giant teddy bear.
Oh.
Calling for Mr. Teddy. It's a 15. Mr. Teddy does not respond in time. Which means minus 25 for Little Fluffenator.
Oh, Mr. Teddy, you failed me.
Alright, now what would you like to do, Wolf?
I would like to teleport us and get some distance from him.
Okay, getting some distance from Zareth. Let's see if that works. It's a 20! Okay, so you teleport yourself and Fluffenator out of there, and you make it back, let's say, on top of the hill. And before Zareth can turn around and see where you've gone, suddenly you see a number of masked soldiers run out of the lab and hit Zareth with trank darts.
Oh, he will not like it when he wakes up.
So Zareth is out cold now, and you see Dr. Kenyon come out after being told by one of the masked guards that the beast is down. He observes Zareth for a moment, and then orders the men to take him inside while he lets the client, most likely referring to Chesterton, know that they are just about ready to proceed with the operation. After they bring him inside, the big front doors of the lab close shut.
I don't know what to make of that.
I am not going to give him access to his DNA.
Okay, so what would you like to do?
I would like to get closer once more now that Zareth was benched, if you will.
Alright, so going to get closer. Okay, going back down the hill. Here we go. And it's a 16. Okay, you guys are doing pretty good. Haven't been spotted by anybody except Zareth yet. You're now close to the lab again. However, of course, the doors have been closed, so you're going to need to find a way in if you're going to prevent them from getting any DNA from Zareth.
Hey, Fluffenator?
Yeah?
Ready to burn this place?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to set the doors on fire?
Actually, the rooftop.
Or maybe we could just try opening it because you know how that worked last time.
Good thinking, actually, but if that doesn't work, I'm setting the wall on fire.
Okay, trying the door first. It's a 17. Sorry, the doors are definitely locked.
Well, that was a good try.
So we're going to burn the wall now. Here we go. It's a 2. You are successful at burning through the wall.
Burn, baby, burn.
Good morning, Canada.
Alright, so, Wolf and Fluffenator, you head on in through the, burned out wall, and you head down a fairly well-lit corridor, but surprisingly there's no guards or cameras or wires or lasers or anything. It's actually a pretty innocent-looking corridor.
That's unsettling.
May I use my wolf senses to try and track Xerf?
Okay, trying to track Zareth. Here we go. It's a 13. Sorry, you can't seem to get a location on Zareth here.
Stuffy nose. I blame it on the stuffy nose.
I don't blame you. It smells like fire.
Alright, so, what would you guys like to do?
I guess we just continue down this corridor until we hear voices.
So the two of you head down the corridor. So far, so good. As I said, I won't roll for that. You get to another door. This one has a keypad lock. So basically, there are like numbers on it. It's a numpad lock, I should say.
Can I animate it to open?
You want to animate the door and ask it to open.
Yes.
Okay, we're trying that. Okay, here we go. It's a 2.
Yeah.
The door is brought to life, and it asks what you want, and you tell it to,
Open.
Please.
and the door opens for you.
Good door.
Your powers are quite interesting, you know that?
Thank you.
Alright, so you open the door, and you get into the main center of the laboratory. Your jaws drop at the very look of the place. Computer screens and control panels line the walls and all floors of the central area. There are a ton of masked guards working at these panels, and covering all entrances as lookouts. And the whole place is quite shiny. You see Dr. Kenyon, the Chestertons, Sutherland, and one other person there who is dressed in a military uniform. A Lugendian military uniform. They seem to be waiting for someone, as both Carl and his daughter seem a little impatient. Unfortunately, though, no sign of Zareth or the mysterious Perfect Man.
Okay, I'm gonna drop to the floor and listen until the person they're waiting for comes.
What are you gonna do, Wolf?
I want to get a better vantage point of the location. Are there any, pillars above that Seth can either climb or teleport to and sit there?
No, but there's a small balcony at the very top of the room. The room is basically the entire tower, so you can look up and it's like the ceiling is way up there. So if you want to try teleporting to the top there, you can.
Top priority would be finding Xerath, and I think vantage point would help suffice that.
Okay, here we go. It's a 12. You are successful at teleporting to the top, and nobody sees you, hears you, or whatever.
Good job, Wolfie.
And the Little Fluffenator is staying down low so that she can hopefully listen in on whatever's happening next.
I just left Fluffenator alone. I'm such an irresponsible adult.
It's okay, I can take care of myself.
Okay, so you guys hang out for a bit. After a little while, Wolf is unsuccessful at spotting anything pertaining to Zareth, but the man in the Lugendian uniform speaks up and Fluffenator listens in. He tells Kenyon that, like Chesterton, he is tired of waiting for the Perfect Man and wishes to begin final negotiations to end his government's association with them now. Kenyon, addressing the man as Colonel Ibori, reassures him and Chesterton that his employer will be along once he finishes prepping for the operation. These things take time, after all. However, this doesn't sway the Colonel, and he reminds Kenyon of their failure to assassinate President Teray some weeks back, and for that, all negotiations will be halted at once, whether Kenyon's employer shows up or not. Kenyon pleads with the Colonel to remain just a little bit longer, but it appears the Colonel wishes to leave as soon as possible and may be about to walk out the door. You guys want to make a move, or are you going to remain where you are?
Up to you, Wolfie.
I'm going to set a few alarms off towards the entrance of the facility. See if I can draw some guards away from the main location.
Okay, so going to try and start little fires and hopefully cause an alarm to go off. Okay, here we go. It's a 16. You were successful at getting the alarm to go off, and this spooks everyone in the tower. The sprinkler system comes on as Kenyon yells for everyone to run outside. Before leaving, though, Kenyon orders several of the guards to stay behind and find out what caused this. So now you've got, let me roll. You have 4 guards looking around the base while everybody else is taken outside.
This is going to be fun.
Okay, so we'll go for Wolf first. What are you going to do?
I'm going to drop kick one of the guards. Or 2, if I can.
Okay, let's see how that goes. We'll just go for 1 right now. 20! You are successful in drop kicking the guard.
Okay.
I'm gonna walk up to the smallest looking guard and most nicest guard and ask them where the bathroom is and then kick them in the shins.
That is just vicious.
Okay, we'll try that. Okay, so rolling. Another 20. It's even night, everybody.
Oh god.
Okay, so you walk up to one of these smaller looking guards, although they're actually all even in height, and you pull on his outfit, and he looks down. He's really surprised, and you ask him,
Where's the bathroom, mister? I'm kind of lost.
The guard turns to the other remaining guards and says, "Whose kid is this?"
And then I kick him in the shin.
You kick him in the shin. It hurts, although it does not take him out. So, what now?
I get Sir Gerald, who was already in here, to scamper on over and spray him in the face with this skunk smell.
Oh, Gerald's a skunk. Okay.
Yeah, Sir Gerald is a skunk.
All right, here we go. And it's a 15. Sorry.
Wah, wah.
Unlike Hatman, no roll for guilt.
Oh.
Okay, so Wolf, Fluffenator's in trouble, and you still got 2 guards left.
3.
Well, technically she's dealing with the one, so you got 2 other guards.
I want to provide cover fire by actually firing some of the guards.
Rolling. It's an 8. Alright, so you were successful in blasting the guard attacking Fluffenator and the guard nearby that guard. So you've taken out those 2 guards, which leaves only 1 left.
I call my nanny Candace to send Mr. and Mrs. Pum Pum. They're 2 airplanes that can shoot little projectiles.
Okay, we'll call for 2 toy airplanes to come in and blast the last guard. Here we go.
That should be fun.
Alright, and it's a 9.
Mm.
And sorry, these guards are ruthless, so in minus 25.
I'm going to teleport and drop kick him.
Alright, drop kicking last guard. Let's see how that goes. It's a 6!
Yes!
Okay, so you drop kick the last guard, and you make sure that Fluffenator is okay. For the most part, she is, but just letting you know, Fluffenator, 1 more hit, and you have lost your first life.
Okay.
Be careful, alright?
As you guys finish off the last guard, you go down the only other hallway that seems to lead somewhere, and you find Zareth all strapped up in like a prison-type cell, basically, so that he can't escape. Okay, so what would you like to do?
Maybe ask him politely why he's here.
I don't think he'll be inclined to answer that one.
Well, we can always roll and see what happens.
Well, I mean, my cuteness is not underrated, so maybe he'll say something.
Alright, we're going to roll and see if Zareth will answer the little girl.
Maybe he's still drowsy on the tranquilizer or something.
I think Wolf is right. It's a 10.
Oh yeah!
Zareth is still drowsy, and he explains that he's here to destroy all the hybrids. Apparently word got around that Chesterton was interested in creating hybrids, and he wanted to destroy them, as is his life's mission, basically. So, now what are you going to do?
Leave him there? We got the information that we wanted.
I need to free him. I don't want Chesterton to get his hands on the gene.
Okay.
Okay, rolling to try and free Zareth. Here we go. It's an 18. You successfully melt the bars, unstrap Zareth from his bonds, and as much as it pains you, you help your arch nemesis out of the base.
For the love of God, if he attacks me right now...
Rolling.
Oh no.
No?
It's a 5. Zareth doesn't attack you, but suddenly these like robotic hands holding like trank guns pop out of the walls from secret compartments, and you are all tranked.
Nap time?
Look, Ma! There are birds flying around me. Okay, good night.
So, who knows how much time has passed, and you wake up in another cell next to Zareth. He's been put back, and now you guys are captured as well. As you wake up, you see Dr. Kenyon, Carl Chesterton, Maxine Chesterton, Jimmy Sutherland, and Colonel Ibori all standing there, and they, well, at least Kenyon and Chesterton, seem very pleased that they've captured not only you two, but Zareth as well.
I'm going to burn you as soon as I get out of here.
Kenyon advises against even trying to set him or any of his compatriots, or even the guards, on fire, or trying to teleport out of your cell. Otherwise, the AI in the building will seal you in and trank you faster than you can even blink. He and his old friend Dr. Ullman designed it together. Sadly, Ullman only kept a watered-down version of the AI for his own experiments, dubbing it Anon. But after Kenyon got and gave it to his boss, the Perfect Man, Anon was transformed into an AI capable of mass-producing Metatron and coming up with the necessary precautions to deal with practically any super being. He now calls it Mechanon, and it is literally programmed and wired into the entire building you and they are standing in.
Well, that's just not fair, no, is it?
Well, what do you want from us then?
Before he can answer, the doors to the prison wing open, and in walks Dr. Kenyon's boss and the mastermind behind the Metatron, the Perfect Man, a.k.a. Dr. Jacob Stroessen.
Oh, you're alive?
So Dr. Stroessen comes in, and he reveals that Director Fox, or as he used to be called, the Phantom Fox, thought he had finished him off. But in reality, Dr. Stroessen had cracked the gene code so far wide open that he was able to, as he takes off one of his guards' masks, and reveals another Dr. Stroessen.
What?
You're just full of surprises, aren't you?
In fact, all the guards take off their masks and reveal multiple Dr. Stroessens.
Who's the real one?
Amused, yet unsurprised by your reaction, Dr. Stroessen explains that when he was a bit younger, he discovered a formula that appeared to show ways to perfect the human body. Believing he had stumbled upon something incredible, he began running test after test and even won several prizes for his work in genetics. Overnight, he had become the world authority on the subject. But it didn't end there. No, not at all. He pushed forward with his research and began operating on himself, taking doses of the formula every time he finished a new version. Over time, his intelligence increased to incredible levels. He was able to understand and sense things a normal person could not, run complex calculations in his head, and come up with the correct answers in record time. And most importantly of all, his increased intelligence allowed him to move even further in his quest to perfect his body. But even with his fantastic intelligence, there were still risks. So, to experiment properly, he discovered a way to clone himself, creating frighteningly loyal copies of his person which he experimented on. If one test didn't pan out, he destroyed that clone and tried again, each one willing to die for the prime Stroessen.
So, quick question. How does it feel to get your butt kicked 4 times?
He ignores that quip and continues. These experiments cost money, and lots of it. So, through a bit of a complex scheme, Stroessen secretly created a wonder drug called Metatron, and sold it through a persona he created known simply as the Perfect Man, because Metatron was all about turning you into an image of human perfection, or at least to a point. Nobody could be more perfect than him. Unfortunately, as he said, Director Fox, in his heyday, managed to see through his charade and tracked him down. But Stroessen was one step ahead of the Fox. He left a clone in his place and abandoned his lab, taking a percentage of his money with him. As planned, the clone destroyed himself and the lab, making it look like Stroessen was dead. Even better, the Fox and the authorities believed that Stroessen and Perfect Man were two separate people, and that the Perfect Man was still out there. While they chased a ghost for years, he was able to continue his experiments in secret. But eventually, once again, the funding dried up, and he was forced to seek out partnership with others. Through this third-party partnership, he was able to open new doors in his research, perfecting his body even more and creating stronger clones. With his partners willing to buy from him, he created new strains of Metatron, like Nano-Metatron, which could control a weakened mind. Anti-Metatron, which could give people animal-like abilities, and turn people into manimals if the proper procedures were followed. And finally, Uber-Metatron, which resulted in the superpowers given to the late Dr. Eroika's lovely secretary, Vera Ellard. Unfortunately, his partnership with the third party he won't mention, suspiciously eyeing Zareth as he said that, eventually became too burdensome, so he took the money and ran, so to speak. Sadly, this took a hit on the Metatron manufacturing, as some ingredients necessary to make things like Anti-Metatron are extremely expensive to come by. The dead tissue of mystically enchanted people from the Otanga regime, for example. Which led, of course, to the attempted assassination of President Touré as a sort of payment for the tissue. Of course, thanks to Pac, that little plan didn't go as well as Stressen had hoped. So now Colonel Labore is here to renegotiate. But enough chit-chat, he says. You three, or at least one of you three, will be part of a great experiment. Not too long after two of Pac's agents had attacked Mr. Chesterton's island, and he had suffered humiliation, house arrest, and the loss of his legs, he put out the word secretly through his daughter that he would give his entire fortune to be able to walk again. Of course, Stressen needs money, and he couldn't pass up an opportunity to operate. So he responded as the perfect man that he could fix Chesterton's legs. But while it would just be extremely simple and boring to make the legs work again, he decided to try something a little bit more interesting. After getting wind that somebody had tipped off the hybrid hunting monster Zareth about Chesterton's desire to create manimals, Stressen decided to lure Zareth into a trap. He got Chesterton and his daughter off their private island, away from the authorities, and let Zareth follow. Once captured, he would transport the mind of Chesterton into the body of Zareth using Mechanon, giving him both a manimal of sorts under his control and a new body. Believe it or not, Chesterton jumped at the idea. Figuratively, of course.
What?
That is beyond messed up. Chesterton has issues, doesn't he?
You two, however, are just unexpected bonuses, really. Potential other options for Mr. Chesterton? A pyrokinetic teleporting werewolf, perhaps?
Or a little girl?
No, he'd rather have the powers of a pyrokinetic, a teleporter, and a werewolf. That, to him, is much more interesting.
Well, he's not gonna get much now, is he?
Mm-mm.
Dr. Stressen turns to Carl Chesterton and asks him, so, which one would you like me to operate on? And we are going to roll. If it's an odd, they will take Zareth. If it's an even, they will take Wolf. It's a 10.
I'm afraid of needles, okay?
So a tranq gun pops out of the wall and quickly tranquilizes you again.
Good night, Mommy.
Stressen orders Wolf to be taken to the operating room and tells Kenyon to prepare Chesterton for the operation. Colonel Labore, who has been waiting patiently, asks Stressen if they can conclude their negotiations before the surgery. But Stressen tells him that the surgery is on a tight schedule, so he'll have to meet with him afterwards. Maxine Chesterton asks Stressen how he intends to put her father's brain into Wolf's body, and he explains that he has discovered a way through Mechanon to digitize both Wolf's and her father's brains. Afterwards, he will simply drag and drop her father's brain into Wolf's body and delete Wolf's.
This is more than I signed up for.
I don't like this idea, okay?
Alright, so Wolf is being taken away. That leaves you, Fluffenator.
Fluffenator, help?
Can Mr. Zareth help me?
You're going to try and get Zareth to help you.
I mean, we saved him. It's only fair.
Okay, we're going to try for that. Ooh, this is the deciding point. It's a 14!
Woo!
Zareth, angry that Stressen got the drop on him, agrees to help you. But only when it comes to breaking out and destroying Stressen and his work. He could care less about Wolf, though.
Fair enough.
Now, the only problem is that you've still got the tranquilizers, like the AI in the building to worry about. And I don't know if you can animate the AI Mechanon to actually work with you, but...
We can try it. Let's try it.
Didn't she, like, release a bear into the facility, a tiny bear that can walk around?
I have many bears. My second option would be to release a wave of stuffed animals to just take out all of the AIs. Yes.
Alright, so we're going to roll to get, or at least try to get, the AI Mechanon on our side. Here we go. It's a 6. You successfully managed to basically kind of animate Mechanon, the AI, into becoming one of your,
Friends!
friends. And, what would you like to tell Mechanon to do?
First, let us go.
No problem. Doors open.
Secondly, show us to where they took Sir Wolfie.
Alright, and a holographic map pops up showing you the layout of the building and a little dot that shows where Wolf is.
Then I ride Zareth's back to the...
Oh, he's gonna love that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay, Zareth is not too crazy about it, but you ride Zareth back out into the facility, and he begins just tearing up all of Stressen's clones.
Make sure to leave the original one alive so I can beat him to a bloody pulp.
We're not even sure which one the original is.
I don't care, leave one alive.
Alright, so Zareth is tearing up the entire facility. It's a massacre, and I think Little Fluffenator's enjoying this a little too much. And, okay. Alright, so you're getting closer to the operating room. Fluffenator, want to do anything different, or are you just going to remain on Zareth's back?
I'm just gonna remain on Zareth's back. It seemed to work so far.
Alright, so Zareth is getting through all of the guards. However, your, I guess, hold on Mechanon wears off and the AI returns to Stroessen's command. So now you've got to dodge the AI's attacks. So here we go. Rolling.
Okay.
It's a 16. Zareth is quick enough to dodge out of all the tranquilizer darts coming from the walls and any other lasers or whatnot that are being fired at you guys.
Shove, Zareth.
Alright, you both burst into the operating room.
Am I awake at this point, or...
Oh yeah, they left you awake.
I'm going to kick your ass.
So, Zareth begins attacking more of the guards while Little Fluffenator jumps off his back. Okay, Little Fluffenator, you are now cornered by Jimmy Sutherland, who's ordered by Maxine to stop them from interrupting the process, because her dad's memory has already been taken out of his mind.
Did you know that your girlfriend cheated on you, mister?
Oh!
You want to try that? Okay, here we go. Here we go. Try for that. It's a 4.
Oh, that's just below the belt. That's just below the belt.
He turns around to Maxine and he's like, "Why? I thought we had something, baby."
Remind me not to be that when I grow up.
Alright, so Maxine is like, "Stop being an idiot and turn around and help! Stop them!" Of course, by now, Zareth has practically destroyed the lab. Dr. Stroessen and Dr. Kenyon make a run for it. So they're getting away. And, Fluffenator, you quickly get all of the machinery off of Wolf so that he's free now.
Needles.
It's okay, Wolfie.
And now you have one more job left to do.
Burn it!
With pleasure.
Okay, so rolling for a huge bonfire. It's a 5. You're too weak still.
Okay, death by stuffed animals.
You're going to send an army of stuffed animals to attack the facility and break it down. Okay, here we go.
I like her idea better.
It's an 18!
Woo!
Ah, of course it is.
The stuffed animals come running into the base and begin just tearing it to pieces. Zareth, who is completely weirded out by this, decides to take his leave, but he vows to Wolf that he will return sooner or later.
Thank you for your help.
Thanks, Furball.
Of course, Maxine and her very upset boyfriend have also escaped, along with the colonel from Lugendian. They all board their helicopters and escape. Maxine trying to ask Jimmy to let her go because she has to go back in and retrieve her father's body. But he's like, "There's no time, the thing's coming down." So the entire facility crumbles to the ground as the villains in their helicopters take off. So, congratulations. It looks like you've stopped the Metatron once and for all. Well, at least you would have, but Dr. Stressen got away. Suddenly, you hear a click, you turn around, and see Dr. Kenyon standing behind you.
Is that a gun?
He's got a gun, and he looks blistering angry. His face is beet red. He's like, you've ruined everything. It took me months to get in with Stressen, and now you've destroyed everything. So, now he's going to kill both of you. So, what are you gonna do?
Teleport in front of him, punch him across the face.
Okay, so teleporting. Here we go. It's a 5.
Ew.
Nope, you didn't teleport fast enough. He shot you. That's a minus 25 for Wolf.
Ow!
I'm going to ask him if he'd like to have a tea party with me and Dr. Oldman.
What?
I swear, if that works.
Okay, first of all, Dr. Oldman is back in Millennium City. Second of all, would you like to at least attempt the tea party?
I swear, that works.
He's lonely and he's mad. Maybe he wants a friend.
We are going to roll for a tea party.
Oh, dear God.
It's a 9. He said no.
Oh, you're crushing a little girl's dreams.
Rolling for guilt.
Yes!
You got to him. It's a 16. He says fine. He'll take it as a last request.
Can I take him out while he's having his tea?
Wow, this show has gone so many directions.
I swear!
Okay, alright, so Wolf, what are you gonna try?
Teleporting him up to a tree after hitting up the gun so he won't be able to hold it.
Okay, so you're going to teleport him to the top of a tree. Here we go.
Even if I run into a wall, that's fine with me.
It's a 12. You were successful at teleporting him to the top of the tallest tree you can find.
How's the weather up there?
Kenyon yells and protests at the top of the tree, stating that he is afraid of heights. But you decide to leave him there and return to the safe house to contact me. You let me know about Stressen, his plan and alter ego, Chesterton's death, the Lugendian connection, and Zareth, as well as notifying nearby authorities of Kenyon's location. However, before anyone can come to collect Kenyon, he manages to climb down from the tree and prepares to go see what supplies he can salvage from Stressen's lab. Unfortunately for him, Zareth was still in the vicinity. It didn't take long for Zareth to pick up his scent and have his way. With that, you two pack up, the authorities arrive, you leave the situation with them, and you head back to Millennium City. Game set. Alright, let's see how you did with the score here.
I got shot.
Wolf, you are the winner of this episode.
'Cause people are mean and hit little girls.
And they get burned afterwards.
That is true, thank you.
Yes, they do. So, for now, we close the door on the Metatron story arc, and next time, we begin, or at least continue, another story arc. Plenty of loose ends to tie up, so until then, bye!
Bye!
Thank you for watching Tale in the Air. The characters and world of the Champions RPG are owned by their respective owners. The characters created by our contestants are owned solely by the contestants. The Fox and the Fedora, Tail in the Air, and Director Fox are all owned by Sean Basinger, No Sense Entertainment, and Z Media Productions. All rights reserved. Also on a special note, and just to let you guys know, I'm going to be co-producing a documentary for a film festival coming up in May of 2016. Unlike my previous projects here on YouTube, however, this project is going to require some funding in order to make it look the best it can. So, my partner and I have started a GoFundMe. If you can, please help us out by donating any amount. It will be greatly appreciated, and all those who donate will receive a credit in the end credits. Just let us know how you want to be credited by leaving us a message here on this video, the next video, or however you'd like. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.